record on this computer. As long as I can still share my screen, perfect. Okay.
Perfect, excellent. So, straight from New Hampshire, Mr. Johnny Burgess, everyone.
All
You have
right.
the floor.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I know I've met some of you before. Guys, what we're going to talk about right now is this ERC project. Your leadership, there's a lot of value adds out there that come down the pike, and leadership has to say no to an awful lot of them because you can't get too distracted and take your focus off what you need to do. If you've read my books, I'm all about the dream is building a multiple six-figure renewal income that you can walk away with. That's what I did my 15 years with Aflac. But I was all in. I opened 72 accounts my first 11 months in the business as a brand new agent. And I did 241 accounts as a district, and then more than that when I was a regional. So I'm all about activity, new blood, new business, and on the back end, developing that dream of that multiple six-figure walkaway income. So my background, I've also owned food businesses. I own bird dog properties. I own a self-insurance company, an agency. I have a bed and breakfast we just built. So I've done a lot of things in my career. A quarterback in this ERC project actually has changed my life more than all the things I've done before combined, I believe. It's amazing. This is not an immediate gratification, guys. This is not going to pay your rent or your mortgage, your light bill in March and April and May at all. You have to still sell insurance to do that. But come next March, April, May, this could actually pay off your mortgage if you position this correctly. And I'm totally serious. This isn't going to be, we have about 21 months left of this project. I'll explain what this is all about for you brand new people, but this is an opportunity to just get money in clients' hands. And then you have a friend for life. Like Jamie was saying, if you get somebody a $600,000 check or a $1.2 million check, you really are their favorite person. And guess what? I'm going to show you how we position it to write a ton of employer paid Aflac, more than you probably ever imagined. Just a quick history where this project came from. If with the COVID relief and the CARES Act and all that, my partner, Lincoln Behringer, he has a consulting firm in Virginia. We've teamed up to become the marketing arm of this CPA firm. But a year ago, Thanksgiving, when Lincoln was meeting up with his childhood friend Damon in Ohio, they hadn't seen each other for a while. They used to do everything together. Lincoln moved to Virginia. Years later, they're catching up. And Damon explained that his family CPA had tripped over this new ERC guidance. And see, prior to that, ERC meant you had to be down 50% in revenue and not have taken PPP money to have anything to do with ERC. But his family CPA firm had tripped over this new guidance, dove into it, and they helped a gentleman named Tony Swantak that at an online home delivery food business, as you can imagine, did very well during the pandemic. They got him a $2 million ERC fund. And they were like, wait a minute, we just struck gold. If we can get $2 million for Tony, let's go to all of our clients as a firm, and let's see if we can someday get 100 million. That was the stretch goal. And Damon, who used to be in DSC in Ohio, he became the marketing arm of Jorns. Justin Jorns was the singular CPA in the firm, and Justin's wife was a part-time bookkeeper. That was 18 months ago. Fast forward today, we just opened a 20,000 square foot facility in Wichita, Kansas. We have 120 onboarding specialists in every floor there. We just opened a 5,000 square foot facility up in Rochester, New York. We opened Roanoke, Virginia a couple of Mondays ago, a new office in Mississippi, New York City, Montana, Wyoming, Southern California. We're just exploding. We're over 420 employees now, CPAs, analysts, and onboarding specialists. And we've now that $100 million goal. We just eclipsed $5 billion to our clients, over 12,000 clients. So there's really 3 legitimate firms in the country doing this correctly. We're the largest of them, and you can be a huge part of it because we teamed up with Aflac Nation. We piloted it with a few regions, tremendous success the first year. And now it's just, I mean, it's already a success story to go from 0 to 5 billion in 18 months. That's almost like the Fortune 500 history. And we're about to triple, quadruple, 10 times that immediately. But I'm going to share my screen and give you the quick history of this. Hang on to your seatbelt. I'm going to talk fast. I'm from New England, so we have a gift of being able to get a lot of an hour and a half of words in about 40 minutes. But if you can listen as fast as I can talk, I'm going to take you through the whole process and then show you exactly how simple it is. Okay. Do you guys see Jones & Associates on your screen?
We see, no, we have Zoom on the big screen, and the little screen where normally your face is the Jorns & Associates, but it's a thumbnail.
I think that's on your end then. Can you enlarge it?
Scroll down, just the bottom part of the picture.
There we go.
You good?
Delayed reaction.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, great. Okay, so first of all, who can we help, guys? Just about any employee with W-2 is basically who we can help. We can't help true public sector, which is police, fire, and public schools. We can do community colleges and charter schools, but just about everybody else that has W-2 employees, for-profit or not-for-profit, either one, from 5 employees all the way to 500. Occasionally we could go lower or higher, but I'll explain that after. Basically 5 to 500 W-2 employees, we can get the money. It doesn't matter if they did PPP or not already. It doesn't matter if they were up or down during this period. We can help just about everybody. So quick history. Actually, I'm going to go through with our first year with Aflac Nation teaming up. Our average client was 31 employees, 31 and a half employees. I'm just going to go through a mock and go in and out of character, but I want you guys to be that client hearing this for the first time. You never have to learn this process. We do all the Zooms for you, okay? But I want you to put on the hat, pretend you are that business owner. Jamie, pick an industry. What business are we talking to? A restaurant, daycare, manufacturing, construction?
Nursing facility.
Nursing facility, perfect, okay? So a nursing facility, and we're gonna have 31 employees. Now, it doesn't matter if they've done PPP round 1, round 2, both, neither. Most common, they did round 1 at least. That's the most common we hear. I almost prefer it if they have done it before, even though they get a little bit less with us, not a lot. But their belief factor, their skepticism is way down because they've already lived through a 6-figure or even a 7-figure loan that magically got erased. When we position this as PPP round 3, it's easier for them to contemplate that this is real. Now, if they didn't do PPP, just means we're going to get them more on our end either way. So both answers are correct. But for this scenario, I'm going to go to Jamie's nursing home facility here, talk to her about this program. So yeah, I'm going to go into character, but pretend you're hearing this for the first time. So Jamie, the process I'm talking about came from the CARES Act in March 2020. This country had gone from an absolutely booming economy to literally a total shutdown overnight with a pandemic. And they said 2 weeks to flatten the curve. It was obviously going to be longer than that, right? So Congress passed the CARES Act as this giant attempt to save the US economy and buy us time. You might remember parts of it, like they came up with the term essential workers and essential business. That came out of the CARES Act. So if the place you were working was not deemed essential and shut down for a while, you could extend your unemployment benefits. That was part of the CARES Act. Or all the employees getting a check for $1,200 in the mail that month called stimulus to get money flowing. That was part of the CARES Act. The most famous probably being PPP loans. Again, my mom raised me to be careful about things that sound too good to be true, but they offered a sizable loan, 5, 6, 7, even 8 figures, for as long as later you could show that you use it for your business, you didn't have to pay it back. Was it a loan? It turned out, yes, it was a loan, but almost every 99% plus of companies were magically forgiven. That loan just went away. That all worked just like they thought it would. They totally drained PPP round 1, refilled it, drained PPP round 2, all of that exactly like they thought. But ironically, the largest part of that same bill, more than all of those parts together by a lot, was this ERC we're talking about today, this employee retention program. They had literally put aside $1.2 trillion with a T in the US Treasury and earmarked it for the American employer. Now, here's the thing, money set aside or earmarked, you can't change your mind or take it back or decide to give it to infrastructure. This, by law, this money has to go to the recipient, which is the American employer. But they made a massive miscalculation, by their own admission. They had made it almost impossible to qualify. They totally underestimated the American spirit, especially entrepreneurs, business owners, employers, finding a way just to grind it out, tough it out, survive, even thrive, even capitalize on it. But of course, the companies that were hurting took PPP money. Why wouldn't they? The qualifications had been 50% down year-over-year revenue and don't take PPP money. That was nobody. So a year later, still $1 trillion in this bucket. So they realized they had to come up with a new way to give this money away. So later on that year, they passed the rescue plan and later the appropriations bill. And between those bills, came up with hundreds of pages of new guidance, which totally changed this program about employee count, opening it to businesses that were bought or sold or open closed during the pandemic, time periods, qualification. So it's night and day different than it was at first. And ironically, most CPAs have no idea how the new guidance works. Okay, so that's why you need a specialist. But Jamie, there's two parts of this. There's a how much part and a how-to part. I'm gonna do a quick how much exercise for your nursing home there, and in 2 slides to show you exactly how we qualify you. But the first time period in play here is March 13th to December 31st of 2020. It's a 41-week span where you as an employer are entitled to a 50% reimbursement of payroll that went out during that time, but it maxes out at $5,000 per employee. Basically, any employee that made at least 10 grand that year, you're going to get a $5,000 tax credit for that. And by the way, when I say tax credit, this is not a credit toward future filings. We're amending a previous time period. So this literally will result in checks in the mail made out to your nursing home there. But 31 times 5,000, that's 155,000. But this is not PPP round 3. It's not a loan at all. So there's no forgiveness process, okay? What we're going to do is Joanne's going to amend your 941 quarterlies, this time issue a 941X on your behalf. But on line 18, they're going to add that ERC, that tax credit. That's going to trigger an overpayment in the government's mind, which is going to result in a refund check made out to Pittner's nursing home. So this is an overpayment refund, which in and of itself isn't taxable. Just like an individual getting a tax refund check in the spring, it's a refund of an overpayment. This is basically that at the employer level. But there is one adjustment we do have to make. You mentioned that you did PPP round 1. So we're talking a team of 400 plus CPAs, analysts, and assistants, very concerned about compliance above all else. So we got to make sure we don't what's called double dip with all things IRS. So if you think back to your forgiveness process, you had to demonstrate an 8-week period of time. If you remember, where you use your PPP money not to buy a new boat or something, but to keep the nursing home going, right? So we don't have to cut out the amount, but we have to take those 8 weeks out of our 41 weeks. So it usually affects our number by about 15%, not a whole lot, but probably closer to 132,000 that we're going to get you in a tax refund for that first time period. You follow me so far? Now, time out, guys. This is fun to watch on the Zoom because that employer just heard you say that you're about to get them a 6-figure check, and they desperately want this to be true. There's not even a lot of skepticism because they lived through PPP, but they're still wondering if there's a catch. Like, wait a minute, this sounds almost too good to be true. So they're sitting up straight face, arms folded. Ironically, this is the smallest of the 4 periods. When I hit the 3 big numbers, their countenance changes. They're trying to control the happy dance on the inside. They're saying, where do I sign? It's just fun to watch. It really is, okay? But back to in character here. So Ms. Pittner, that's now 2020. But in 2021, at the end of 20, they passed that appropriations bill. That changed everything for the second year. And one of the biggest differences is they redefined the word time period or filing period to mean a calendar quarter for 21 instead of a calendar year like years past. So the next period we're going to file for you is January 1st to March 31st, quarter 1 to file all by itself. And then April, May, and June, we can file again, quarter 3 and quarter 4. So 4 separate quarters to file instead of just a year end like it used to be. Now they passed that bill at quarter to midnight on December 27th. Sometime within that last hour, they took back quarter 4. But it's still up to 3 quarters to file. And they raised that reimbursement of payroll 50% to 70% in that per employee cap from 5,000 per employee to 7,000 per employee per quarter. So now for quarter 1, 31 employees times 7,000, that's $217,000 for quarter 1, $217,000 for quarter 2, and $217,000 for quarter 3. That's $651,000. You said you didn't do PPP round 2, so there's no adjustment like I did the first time. We add that to the net of $132,000. Ms. Pitt, looks like we're gonna get you about $783,000 in a overpayment refund made out to Pittner Nursing Home. Are you following me so far?
Yeah, if you're sending the check, then yeah, to me, yeah.
I promise you guys, they are following you. They're on the edge of their seat. You stay there with a straight face and smile a little bit, but you see them trying to control it. And this is where they say, this is great. Where do I sign? It's fun to watch. It really is. I throw a disclaimer here, and of course, I'll say you have to qualify, of course, and I'm not guaranteeing that that's your number. We have to go through the process. The 941s will tell the exact story. We can't get precise in a 15-minute Zoom, obviously. But Ms. Pittner, I've done way over 1,000 of these myself, and I'm very close on my math. You follow me so far? And guys, they are. But at the beginning of this, I asked you what you knew about ERC. And you said not a lot. And most people I talk to in a given day don't. But if there's a couple that have heard of it, they seem to know just enough to assume they don't qualify, or have even been told by their CPA that they don't. And these are the reasons they give me. Like, we were deemed essential, so we never had to shut down. I hear that a lot. Or we did take PPP money, so I'm pretty sure you can't take both. Or we weren't down enough in revenue in any of these periods to qualify. or 21 was our best year ever. We hear that an awful lot. Okay. Now it's true that any one of those would automatically disqualify you based on the original guidance, but that's also why there was $1 trillion sitting there a year later. So the good news is Jones and Associates mastered this new guidance. And now what they do is demonstrate ways that the pandemic affected you, your industry, and your business. But regardless of the strict revenue declines, that used to be the only way to qualify. And a great example I still love to use is my sister's restaurant right here in New Hampshire. When the New Hampshire governor lifted the ban for restaurants to open, there were restrictions. Like dining rooms were limited to 50% capacity because you had to spread out, like skip every other table, right? But Cindy literally put tables and chairs in the parking lot and called it patio seating. For whatever reason, that was a hit. People flocked to it. She ended up making more money doing that than she would have with a full dining room. But by definition, that is called the nominal change within the sector, AKA a qualifying event. If that wasn't enough, though, on the other side, she added that curbside pickup, takeout, delivery business. That made her an absolute fortune. So yeah, she was way up in revenue. She had already done 2 rounds of PPP, in fact, but she still got $240,000 at ERC because we could demonstrate she had to make adjustments. Does that make sense? And guys, when I say that, it does. That's the light bulb starts to go off. That there's a method to what we're talking about. Now, if you look at this screen here, this is a very small sampling of hundreds of pages of new guidance that our analysts have at their disposal to find legitimate ways to qualify your company as well. Now, understand, we're not living in a gray area or trying to desperately find some loophole to sneak through. Quite the opposite. We do a very thorough job. We have 2 senior CPA teams sign off in every case. And if we can't qualify you compliantly, we're not going to put our firm or your company at risk. But here's the bottom line. Almost every company was actually affected by this whole pandemic in a very legitimate way. Now, like my sister's restaurant, going to outdoor seating or, takeout delivery business, those are obvious changes. But there's things like before we knew COVID was an aerosol, we weren't sure if you could catch it by touching things. So like a lot of menus, Cindy had disposable, like a lot of restaurants, Cindy had disposable menus, which means use it once, has to go in the trash. The fact that it's a new printing expense that didn't exist pre-pandemic became part of her equation. Or the fact that red meat went up $2 a pound in 2020, she had to reprice the whole menu and the burgers in the tavern. Those are different, nominal changes within these sectors that we can use to qualify you. I've done countless community colleges and charter schools and urgent care centers and dental practices, manufacturing, retail, warehouse. Again, this has affected almost all of us, especially in your nursing home. Think about how many cases of masks and gallons of sanitizer you went through, sanitation stations, plexiglass dividers in between every nurse's workstation, even disinfecting your nurse's station. That takes productive minutes where you're not handling a patient. Our CPAs and analysts can take all of those factors, and if the sum total satisfies the IRS definition of nominal change within a sector, we can get you qualified. On the screen here, this is a gentleman in Ohio who allowed us to show this, but he owns 2 car dealerships. The top one's a Kia with 60 employees. Bottom one's a Hyundai with about 70 employees. This was just his Q2 checks last year. If you look at this code, F941REF, an amended 941, an overpayment triggers a refund, which is ERC, paid out to the dealership. And this is the time period. This is Q2, or April, May, and June for Kia, Q2 for Hyundai. He got 3 of those for each dealership. Plus, because it was broken up in 2 different ownerships, he also got the 2020 money. Seth got $3.4 million. And the ironic part is his CPA had told him he couldn't qualify. Seth had actually heard of ERC. He reached out to his accountant and said, look into this for me. That accountant called back within minutes and said, you don't qualify, you made too much money last year. See, with Seth, he couldn't get any new cars during this time. He still has a hard time. Couldn't get any new vehicles, though, during this time period, because I guess all the computers and the chips were in storage containers at sea. So the new car lots totally empty, but his pivot was selling pre-owned vehicles. He ended up doing very well. He's up 40% revenue, so certainly not hurting. But by definition, that is a nominal change. Actually, not as huge, but a nominal change within a sector. So between that, disinfecting the vehicles in the showrooms, we easily got them qualified. Does that make sense? And that's why you need a specialist. Your CPA is like your dentist. They do all your cleanings and maybe some surface fillings. But if you need a root canal, they're going to send you to an oral surgeon. That's what Jorns is. We don't do year-end payroll services or year-end tax filing. The only thing we do is ERC. We do it more than anybody else and better than anybody else. But to be transparent, Jorns did not invent this process. They were just one of the first 3 firms in the country to learn the new guidance, but now we've helped more than anybody else. So if you think of the sheer volume of this, without apology, we don't do it fast. We probably take longer than any of the other firms. And right now, really, there's only 3 creditable agencies, in my opinion, Alliance, Regency, and Jorns, that are doing this the right way. If you guys that are new might not know, but you veterans, you probably printed out a Flex 125 plan for your Aflac clients. It's like 24 pages of boilerplate definition and boring legalese. I've read that entire thing because I own a self-insurance company. I had to make sure it was compatible. The average report that Jorns does for an ERC client is 80 pages, not boilerplate. We cite every chapter and verse, local, state, county, national guidance, ordinance, restriction of COVID, listing all the expenses, the hours, the supply chain issues, all of that. And we come up with a huge report, as much as 1,200 pages if we need it. We used to send it in with our 941s. The IRS finally said, wait, too much information. You guys are airtight. If we ever need it, we'll let you know. But more than anything else, we make sure our clients never, ever, ever have to give this money back. Okay. There's a lot of firms that have popped up, but an awful lot of have been shut down in the last 90 days because they weren't doing it right. They were just filing to get somebody a check, but they weren't doing a qualification report that goes along with it. So those clients are going to have to get that money back, and with penalties, fines, and interest. That will never, ever happen to a Jorns client. But we don't guarantee, without going through the process, you qualify. I've never had a nursing home not qualify, so I'd probably bet you a steak dinner anywhere in Florida that they can, but I can't say that. We have to go through the process. But this is what separates us from our competition as well. We are so certain that we've done this right, that we guarantee this project through 2030 with a full audit guarantee. If you are ever audited for all things ERC, Jorns guarantees their compliance, how they qualified, all their math to the penny. We're airtight on that. All these other companies that are popping up won't even be around a year from now. We're opening brick and mortar stores from coast to coast as fast as we can, hiring by the hundreds. So quite the opposite. We're here for the long duration of this. Move our faces down. So this is how Jorns gets paid, guys. Their fee is 20% of whatever you can, they can get you in a tax refund. If you walked into our new Roanoke, Virginia office and hired them, they charge 20%. Or if you found Jorns online, that is their fee. But because Aflac Nation is bringing hundreds of cases a week to Jorns, your Aflac clients or anybody referred from an Aflac agent gets a reduced filing fee of 15%. And that is really the lowest in the field among the specialty firms. Most of our competition is all charging 20, 25, or 30%. And with Jorns, you don't pay that until after you receive your refund. One of our 2 other competitors, they are legitimate, but they charge half of their fee in advance. That's an awful lot of money. With us, if you don't get a refund, you're not going to end up paying a dime. We do collect a $2,600 deposit at engagement to get our CPA started on your case, but even that's fully refundable. For any point in this process, if either our CPA teams come back and say, I'm sorry, we can't compliantly put our firm's name on this, we refund your deposit usually within 24 hours, okay? Well, let's assume we can get you $800,000 maybe by the end of the spring, early summer. Then you'll get your invoice from Jorns after you receive your checks, but the invoice will have a $2,600 credit on it. It's not even a fee, it's part of the 15%. So there's zero financial risk to engage with Jorns to find out if there's money sitting in the treasury that should be in your checking account, rightfully. But you either get your deposit back or get a big figure with a big check with 6, maybe even 7 figures in it. And we guarantee our compliance because we do every single case within the lines of our IRS approved software, updated every 30 days for compliance. So we're airtight, there's no human error. Now, guys, here's where we drop what's called the atom bomb, okay? Now, if Agent Sally over here is the Aflac agent, I'm talking to Jamie, we're gonna put what's called a consideration. All my presenters right here position it just like this. Now, Jamie, before I move on the timeline, the next steps, I want to add what's called a consideration. And it actually has nothing to do with Jorns or even the IRS. It has to do with Sally over here. She's the one to introduce us. If we can exceed your expectations and actually get you an $800,000 check this spring, this summer, I'm going to make a suggestion that it might be a great idea to give your employees $5 or $10 a week for some real cool benefits that she offers, like dental and vision, life insurance. It's not a requirement, of course. That was really a plug for you, Sally, by the way. Say it half kidding like that. But we are trying to all, retain our best employees is a great idea, but nothing to do with this. That was a plug for her. But I will say that car dealership I mentioned earlier, he gave all his employees $10 a week for life insurance, and it went over very, very well. Okay, but that was really for her, nothing to do with this. Yeah, we just say that subtly like that. At that point, I can't tell you how many clients will say, you get $800,000 check. That's a great idea. I'll do that in a heartbeat. And we've gotten so much employer paid AFA from coast to coast, it'll blow your mind. Now from here, we send them in a welcome email. They sign the engagement and they pay the deposit. Now from here, there's a 10-point checklist U.S. agents have to do next. You might want to write this down. You have to do a one-on-one with the employer and then one-on-one with every employee. So a whole bunch of brochures we need to get together and make up packets. We need an SRA and a PDA, first invoice review, be available for claim help and deduction report, and write the new hires. I'm kidding. Those are all insurance guys. Okay. That's what you have to do with an Aflac client. The good news is after this 19-minute Zoom, there is nothing for you to do. There's nothing you can do because the CPA firm is dealing directly with that client. And because of client privilege, you can't be involved. We will send you an updated check spreadsheet every other week, let you know what stage of process your clients are progressing, but you can never ever go to the client. We're going to let you know how much they get, but you can never ever go to the client and let them know. We actually had an agent up here in New England, unfortunately went to the client, the restaurant owner, said, I'm so excited. I heard you're getting $1.2 million. That restaurant owner called George within seconds, all ticked off, like, why the hell does she know anything about my taxes? Almost shut this whole project down. So I will let you know what you're about to receive commission-wise, because it's based on how much they get. But again, you can never, ever, ever relay it onto your clients, just telling you that. So you're done, go back to selling cancer policies, open up some other Aflac accounts, go to work, go to vacation, let the CPA team do what they do, delayed gratification, but 5 months, 6 months, 8 months later, you're going to get paid handsomely. Like Jamie says, you go to the mailbox and every other day there's a check for you. But from there, we hand them out to an OS, an onboarding specialist, who lets them know what we need. They collect the data. Without apology, we don't rush this. It could take a couple of months. Could be take 2 or 3 or 4 months to do it correctly. But if both teams sign off on it, then it goes to the IRS and we wait for a check. Nothing we can do to speed that up either. The fastest I heard was 7 weeks. Could be 7 months. It's usually somewhere in the middle. 3, 4, 5 months is the average right now. We just had a $1.4 million check come in after 4 months, which is a nice surprise. If it's over $1 million, a lot of times it might even be 9 months. Nothing you can do to speed that up. The client will get their approval letter from the IRS, but it's nothing to do, just wait for the check. But they'll eventually get that, and then their invoice from Jones for their fee. This is what their email looks like: a place to sign the agreement and a place to pay the deposit. Your job after the Zoom is make sure they got the email. They won't have any questions. If once it's spam, we'll resend it, and then you're done. I usually leave this up at the end just to remind them if their CPA they went back to after this told them they don't qualify, their CPA just has no idea how this new process works. Okay, so I'm going to come out of here, stop share for a second. Now, I just gave you an awful lot of information. Oh, I can't minimize during the Zoom. That's okay. I hope. Trying to minimize, but anyway, guys, you never, ever, ever have to do that Zoom presentation. My team does that all for you. I used to do every Zoom for all of Aflac Nation. I was doing over 100 a week. I hit capacity, but now there's 7 of me. So I'm going to show you exactly how simple this is, but you can pick any time from 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, and just book it. We're going to cover that Zoom. I have to try to minimize this so I can show you my next screen. Let me just give me a second to figure this out. Okay, let's move it over at least. Oh, I think that's working. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, there we go. All right, do you guys see script word track here?
No, sir.
Yes or no?
No.
No, you don't. Shoot. Okay. I might have to stop recording for this part, but before I do that, let me do this. Jamie, I'm going to call you. You're going to be a restaurant owner. All I want you to do is answer the phone. Ready? Ring,
You
ring.
got it.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Jamie, it's Johnny the Aflac guy. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Awesome. Listen, I haven't seen you in a while, but I'm reaching out because I want to let you know that one thing our company is doing now is we're actually helping restaurants get their ERC money. Did you get your check yet?
No, I don't think I qualify for that.
Well, under the original guidance, you probably wouldn't have, but there's a lot of new guidance for restaurants, and we work with a specialty firm. I can't guarantee it, but I can probably get you $20,000 per employee. Is there any way you can be in front of your computer for like 15 minutes Friday morning?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
All right, I have your email. I'll send you an email. Can you do 9:30?
Yeah, 9:30 works.
Okay, I will send you a Zoom and a link, and I'll see you Friday morning.
All right, sounds good, Johnny.
Okay, answer the phone again. This time you're going to be a construction company. Okay, client of mine. Ready? Ring, ring.
Hey there, this is Jamie. Can I help you?
Hey, Jim, it's Johnny the Aflac guy. How are you?
I'm doing good, Johnny.
Good, good. I saw your son's claim paid, so that's good. But reason I'm reaching out is one thing our company is doing now is we're helping construction companies get their ERC money. Did you guys get your check yet?
No,
You know what
I
that
didn't hear about that.
It's like
What's the ERC?
It's like a PPP round 3 for construction companies. I can't guarantee it, but I can probably get you 20,000 per employee. Is there any way you can be in front of your computer for like 15 minutes Thursday afternoon?
Heck, yeah.
Can
There's
you
a
do
chance that's
3:30?
true.
Yeah, can't guarantee it, but we're up in most. Can you do 3:30?
Yeah, I can.
All right, I will send you a Zoom link and we'll see you then.
All right, perfect.
All right, one more, guys. She's gonna be a car dealership. That's not a client yet. Ring, ring.
Hi there.
Hey, Jamie, this is Johnny Burgess. I met you last week when I bought my GMC truck. You met my wife and kids. I had the cowboy hat on. How's it going?
Yeah. Yeah, how's the truck treating you?
We love it. We absolutely love it. So we're psyched. But the reason I'm reaching out, I was kind of busy with a closing there to mention it last week, but what my company actually does is we actually help dealerships get their ERC money. Did you guys get your check yet?
No, I looked into it, but it just looked very complicated.
Sure. It is. It's complicated. When I work with a specialty firm that does it all for you, I can't guarantee it, but I could probably get you 20,000 per employee. So anyway, you can be in front of your computer for like 15 minutes Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind hearing about that.
All right, I grabbed your card on the way out, so I have your email address. Can you do 3:30 actually?
Yeah, that'll work.
I will send you a link. We'll see you then. Have a great
All
day.
right. Thank you. You too.
Very good. Okay, guys, let's talk comp for a second. Whatever the client gets. Okay, now my second book, I talk all
Well,
about.
let me pause you for 1 second, Johnny.
Sure.
Y'all think you could do that? Okay, I just want to get confirmation that they're like, yeah, we could say that all day long. Go ahead, Johnny.
Guys, this is not rocket science. You notice I never once said how great Jordan's is, how we just opened a 20,000 square foot facility, how we charge less, how there's $1 trillion in the treasury, or I didn't do any of that. I said, did you get your ERC check yet? If they say, what's that? Or I don't think we qualified, go right to booking the Zoom. That is all you do. I remember I did Ryan Yeagy's Monday morning meeting the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. So that Monday they were tired, but a few people showed up. There's a girl named Betty Piazza that was there that morning. She did exactly that opening line. She made $220,000 in her first 10 weeks, guys, doing exactly that. I did every Zoom for her, but doing that exact opening line, and she wrote a ton of Aflac from it. She got into dormant accounts she hasn't seen in years, opened new accounts. She probably made over $450,000 altogether last year. She hasn't been paid for all of it, but every week, 1, 2, 3, 4 checks coming in the mail like a tsunami, Pittner, just by doing that exact script. She did not. If any owls in the crowd, fight that. Don't become an expert in this or do it on the side. You don't need to become an expert. You keep doing what you're doing, but I'm going to show you our drop flyer approach. This can help you open new accounts that'll buy a bunch of Aflac as well. Let me talk comp for a second, then I'll come back to this. Whatever the client gets, you get a 1% commission. You got to change your thinking. This is not a 40% commission on a cancer policy or more for life insurance. This is not that. Okay. This is more like wealth management. If you think of those people who take this family's $400 million fortune and move it over to this fund, those money management people who move it from one place to another, moving it across, they get like a quarter point being in the middle. Those people in the middle make a fortune moving that money around. That is more like what you are, but you actually happen to get a full point for doing this. And you happen to be giving away money that's sitting in the treasury as fast as you can, like Santa Claus. Don't make one call a month. Talk to 20 people today about this, okay? This will last about 21 months, but you literally can give this away as fast as you can. You make a 3-sentence phone call like we just did. Get on the Zoom, look pretty and smile for 20 minutes, 19 minutes. We do everything else, and you're gonna get paid handsomely for it. But that client gets $1 million check, you just get a $10,000 commission. They get a $2 million check, you just made a $20,000 commission. A friend of mine, Brian, is a broker I engaged with this in Dallas, Texas. He just did a chain of car washes in the fall. And because of different ownership, it was way over 500, but we still got him qualified because of the broken up ownership of it. That owner of those Carmel car washes is getting $20 million, which means it's about a $200,000 commission for Brian. And that owner is so excited, he's taking Brian and his 2 daughters on a trip to Rome when he gets a check sent. This is as big as you want it to be, guys. It really, really is. Before I go to process, actually, I can't see you at the moment, so I'm going to trust everybody does this. If you read my second book, I'm the most success person with goal setting you've ever met. I've broken world records, and it's nuts. But I need everybody to put a pen in your hand for a second. Pen, pencil, crayon, marker, chalk, something. Let me know when everybody is holding one. Everybody holding one?
We are good to go.
Okay. In front of you, I want you to write down a number. Let's pretend that this project ended New Year's Eve at the end of 23. We actually have almost another year, but let's pretend it We have 49 weeks left. The ball drops on December 31st, and you look back, did you have success with ERC? How much do you want to make on the side doing this project? This isn't your career, okay? This is a short-term project, but boatload of windfall money. How much do you want to make on the side doing this to help you get your athletic career off the ground? Just write a number. There's no right or wrong. You can share it with somebody or keep it to yourself, doesn't matter, okay? Now, let me show you how realistic this is, because none of this is theory. Let's say you gave me one average client a month for the rest of the year. Okay, let's say 12 clients times 31 employees. That's 372. If they didn't do PPP, sometimes we can get them 26,000 per employee. If they did do PPP, it's more like 20,000. Let's just use that number. That means you just got $7.4 million in your clients' hands and accounts, which puts $74,000 as income for you on the side for making 1 3-second pitch phone call a month, getting on a Zoom that we run for you, sit there and look pretty and smile a lot for 19 minutes, and you made 74,000 on the side. That's if you did one a month, guys, or 2 15s, okay, or a 60-person group every other week, doesn't matter. But let's say you did one a week, and we have 49 weeks left, times 31 is the average size. That's 1,519 employees, times 20,000. That's $30.38 million to your clients, which means you made $303,000 on the side doing this and doing one Zoom a week with me on the average client. Okay. None of this is theory, guys. There's a lady in Washington, D.C. named Brianna Colbro. She does sometimes 5 of these a week with me. Carter May, President's Club, Dallas, Texas. He does 5, 6, 7 a week. I think a couple weeks ago, as soon as your client engages, by the way, starts the process with Jordan's, I mail you $100 advance commission. Okay, it's just an advance toward your eventual, after you get your first case, then I send you the W-9 contract, so we can pay you. So if it's a $5,000 commission, I give you $100 at first, and then you get the other $4,900 later when they pay Jordan's. But I just mailed Carter a $900 check because he had 9 deposits paid 2 weeks ago, actually. Larry Vanderpool, another President's Club up in Washington State. He's done 4 in a day before. Okay. I did a meeting with Zoom on Zoom with Guam last night at 6:30, which was their Monday morning meeting. It was Sunday night for me. And one of their agents already sent me 3 Zooms this morning when I woke up on my phone. Okay. That's what this takes, guys. Massive amounts of action. Don't be a tire kicker and do one, wait 4 months, see how it goes. Don't do that. Do like Betty did. Jump in with both feet, make yourself $220,000 in 10 weeks. John Lecklider in Maryland. He lives in Florida now on the Yankees team, but he made $1.3 million doing this last year. And he wrote $750,000 in insurance to hit President's Club. This opened up doors he never would have been able to open. He went to one of his existing clients, who's a recycling plant in Maryland. 4 years, there was like a brick wall with a new HR lady. He couldn't get in there. She said, nope, our drivers are too busy. They have to be on the road by 5 a.m. Can't come in. We'll keep the policies on the books and we'll pay the invoice, but you can't come back in. Until he made a call and she got $460,000. All of a sudden, you know, we have time, come on in. And we don't have 20 employees anymore. We have 28. And I think we want to buy the accident for all of them. And they can get whatever else they want. John wrote $28,000 in 2 days, most of it employer paid, in an account he never would have been able to get in if it wasn't for ERC. Okay. A new agent in June on Joanne's team, Brian Yeagy's team in Florida, dropped the flyer. I'll show you the flyer. Dropped the flyer at a doctor's office. Now you're supposed to put your number on the bottom. She didn't change it, so my number was on the bottom. I took the call from Josh, the practice manager there. I remember doing a Zoom for Josh, and we ended up getting him $588,000. When he got his notice from the IRS to use a proof for $588, hadn't even been paid yet. He was so excited. He reached out to Joanne, said, get in here, and I want to buy 4 policies for everybody in my office. So between her and her district, Maria, they wrote almost $30,000 in 1 week during Power Weeks in June, all because of a new account opened with a flyer drop for ERC. That was a door opener, guys. This is an exciting project that can change your life if you let it, guys. But for any veterans, if you have any clients at all, that is absolute gold. The relationship you already have with your clients, guys. Reach out to them. They already know you. They trust you. You have a relationship. Get in there with that. Okay. That should be a very, very low hanging fruit. Now it's probably different in Florida. You guys have never had a billing issue with Aflac, right? Or you ever had a claim that you wanted to go through and didn't quite come out right?
Right.
You can have a billing issue, miss the payroll in time. A lot of things can happen. but you get them $1 million check, all is well. Okay. There's a lot of grace if you get them $1 million check. Like Jamie said, you are their favorite person. Anything you want to sell the rest of your life, they're going to be your number one for that. Okay. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm more excited now than I was a year ago, but we piloted this with 30 regions around. And as a focus last week, Aflac had me in Dallas, we have 74 other regions we're training now to do this. And we're just going to take that 5 billion to a whole new level. Okay. Again, whatever you want to be, write that down. I'm going to show you the flyer drop process in a second, but whatever you want to achieve with this, you absolutely can. But let's take this to a whole new level. My partner in this, Lincoln, owns Rhino Financial. He does the back office, gets all these cases across the finish line for us with his team. But we're a work hard, play hard. One of my favorite parts of my entire Aflac career was all the trips I won. All the conventions, President's Club, fame trips, state convention. I went all over the place on Aflac's dime. Dominican, Rome, Hawaii. I mean, it's amazing. Cruises over the years. We're going to send you on a cruise too for this. Okay. Lincoln is saying anybody who does 10 million in process refunds to your clients, which means you made 6 figures on the side doing this, doing 1 or 2 Zooms a week, we'd run for you, right? But 10 million to your clients, you made 100,000, and we're sending you on a cruise. And it's not just a cruise, it's a cruise on the largest cruise ship in the world. It's a brand new Norwegian Prima ship. There's a 4-story water slide, go-kart track. It's unbelievable. And we're not just putting you on the cruise, we're putting on you the first-class deck called the Haven. I've been on Norwegian's Haven many, many times. You were like a king and queen on the high seas. Every time you get back to your room, there's caviar and champagne. You have your own private butler, private massage lady, private sauna, private hot tub, your own restaurant and bar. You can go anywhere on a ship you want, but nobody can come see you because you're on the first-class deck of the Haven. It's unbelievable. You want to go to a theater, they walk you down, put you in the front row. It's just amazing. But you and a guest on that ship with $2,500 spending money to boot. That's the first one. 100 million to your clients, which means you made $1 million in your pocket, helping your clients get this money. And we're going to take a second private chartered yacht with 18 staterooms. If we have to take it out several times, we can. There's already people on pace to hit that as well. So work hard, play hard. There's all kinds of other incentives, bonuses we're going to do. Kim, I'm going to send you our new RSC kit, has all the promotions on the cruises and the flyers as well. I wanted to put up the text, though. I'm not sure if it's going to let me do this. Cannot minimize when you're recording. Am I still sharing my screen?
No.
It's just superimposes.
There you go. You're sharing it.
You see my dog Hooper right there? That's my
Yep.
backyard. Okay. This is the perfect text. You guys see that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, perfect. Okay. After you make that phone call, hey, Jamie, I wanted to reach out because we're helping car dealerships get their ERC money. Did you get your check yet? I don't know what that is. Well, it's kind of like PPP round 3 for dealerships. I can't guarantee it. I can probably get you 20,000 per employee. Anyway, you can be in front of your computer Friday morning at 8:30. If they say yes to that, right, you're going to send this text to me. Nice, short, sweet, exactly in this format, 1, 2, and 3. Number 1, confirm date and time. Pick any time from 8 to 4:30 on the half hour. Okay. You don't have to write that PST. That's from my LA folks. Don't worry about that. You guys are Eastern Coast time. All 7 presenters are also East Coast, so don't worry about that. But pick a date and time. You don't have to find out what I have availability. Between the 7 of us, we can get any of those time slots. Just don't book them all for 10 and 2. Those are the 2 most sought after times. Do some at 10, but do some at 9:30, do some at 10:30, spread it out. Confirm date and time. Number 2, the name of the company and approximate employee count. Casey's Rib Shack, 20 Life Restaurant, something like that. Then number 3, both email addresses, your email address and the client's. Even if you know that I have yours, we've done 10 of these, still put yours on there every time because it works like this. You send it to me. If I can do it, great. If not, I forward that text to one of my other 6, then we get a link out. And then write that you're in Jamie's region, okay? We're getting so geographically spread all the way to Guam now. So we're going to rely on the regionals now to every other week pass on a report to you so you can see the progress report of where your clients are at, okay? Perfect text. This is not a perfect text. Hey, Johnny, I have a great client. I think it'd be a great candidate for ERC. Please don't write that. Everybody's great. You don't need to write that, okay? They did the first round of PPP. We're excited there could be more money. We don't need to know that on my text. Not that I don't care, but we're going to find out about the PPP when we talk to them on a Zoom. And of course, they're excited. Again, not that I don't care, it just doesn't help the process. Mornings work best for them. I was thinking next Wednesday around noon. That doesn't help me, guys. I stare at that. I don't even see a time. Short and sweet. Write the day of the week and the date, Monday, June 27th at 12:30. That's all I need, guys, okay? Because I can even be doing a Zoom and sneak that off to, to Scotty or somebody and get that book for you. So again, not that I don't care, but short and sweet is best. It just doesn't help the process other than that. Now, I'm not excellent, so let me bring this smaller. Do you have these flyers at all, Jamie? Have you seen this? Okay.
Yes.
We have a whole bunch of new ones too. We have daycares and preschools, nonprofits, churches, synagogues, physicians' offices. We have tons of them. Guys, you can drop this off at a construction company. It just says, "Hey, construction company, take advantage of ERC. If not, why not?" Picture guys with a hard hat and put your name and number down here. There's now a QR code on the new ones that will take you right to my website. I'll share with you in a second as well. They can book the Zoom right on there, and it tracks to you. By the way, at the end of the Zoom, unless we're running over on time, we end with a philanthropic note now, which we mean it, but it actually it sounds like this. At the end of that Zoom, as long as we have a couple extra seconds, Chuck or Scott's going to say one more thing. One more thing, Jamie, you want to mention as part of the mission of our agency is we're also trying to help as many nonprofits as possible at the same time. If you know any nonprofits by chance, I don't care how small they are, please pass their information along to Sally also so we can get this money in their hands too. They can really use this funding. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of churches and youth groups and feeding shelters and dog rescues. Just pass it along. Many times right there, they say, you know what? I'm on the board of directors at the MSPCA for dogs, or I'm a deacon at my church. Can you do our church? And that client also goes to you. Okay, so we're doing all kinds like that behind the scenes. It all tracks to you for an extra. I mean, we do want to help nonprofits, but it's just another client for you. But that's construction, guys. And then, shoot, what did it just do? Where'd it go? Uh-oh, hold on. Let me try this. Do you guys see the restaurant flyer?
No, you quit sharing.
I did? Shoot.
Yeah.
It's tough to watch me on a computer, I'm sure.
Your face might be about 5 feet tall.
Really?
Yeah.
Johnny, do you have a flyer that's just good for any business?
Yes, we do have a generic, just says small business on it. Yes, we do. Okay. But anyways, you got the idea. There's one for each industry that we could think of. We got like 10 or 12 vertical flyers. I'll send you that. Part of it, guys, too, is a little sales training mode here. When I talk about my second book is when you're a specialist, the guard comes way down. Okay. When you're going to that, gatekeeper or to a business owner, you have to overcome it. That doesn't happen when you do it like this. Let's say you owned a restaurant and I walked in and say, "Hey, I'm Johnny from Morton Seafood. We got a new line of giant quarter-pound scallops. Can I stop by and show you some samples next week?" Seriously, for a second, think of it. If you were a restaurant owner and a seafood supplier stopped by with something special, would you be upset that they stopped by? No, right? Or if you went into a salon and you said, "Hey, I'm the John Paul Mitchell shampoo dealer. Can I come by next week and show you a new line of conditioners we came out with?" Would that salon owner be at all upset if you stopped in with shampoo? Of course not. They own a salon. No, this conversation is supposed to happen. So guys, my whole career, when I walked into a restaurant and said, "Hey, I haven't a chance to meet you yet, but I specialize in benefits for restaurant workers. Do you guys offer benefits now?" Guess what? Their guard came way down because they have a restaurant. I specialize in Aflac, benefits for restaurant workers. We're supposed to have this conversation. So now if you lead with this, it's still going to end up as an Aflac client. Walk in a restaurant with this flyer and say, "Haven't a chance to meet you yet, but my company helps restaurants get their ERC money. Did you guys get your check yet?" There's no resistance. They have a restaurant. That's what you do. Let's book a Zoom. If you can contemplate that, this can make you an absolute fortune. Even if I heard somebody there day one, doesn't matter. You can make a fortune with this doing that. One of my agents up here broke her leg this summer, so she couldn't get out there. So she literally just dialed daycares and preschools in her area. Say, "I'm Darlene, I'm local, and we help daycares and preschools get their ERC money. Did you get your check yet?" And she would email them that flyer. Okay. She done tons and tons of cases doing that. Okay. So if you want an excuse, I can give you 100. You can think of your own. If you want to make a lot of money, guys, there's lots and lots of ways to do it. But talk to everybody that you know that's not even a client yet. I told my sister's restaurant, but I did my nephew's flooring store in South Carolina. Unfortunately, my mom passed away a year ago, but I met the funeral director, did a great job for my family. I did ERC for the funeral home. Okay, I'm talking about the contractors at my farm here, my movers, my mechanic. Talk to everybody about ERC. Now, we have got an extension on this. They now said, the IRS said we can actually file our last case April 15th of 2025, which is over a year longer than we had at first. But remember, we can't do a Zoom on April 14th. It might take 4 or 5 months to actually get a case to the finish line. So Lincoln and I are thinking probably next Thanksgiving is when the sun will set on this project, guys. So we have a lot of time, opportunity to make as much as you want with this and take your Aflac career, employer page. Brian Yagi shared at Focus last week. He had about $800,000 in employer paid Aflac through this project. Okay, that's amazing, guys. That is a game changer. But again, all these people hitting President's Club because of this. The good part is, again, this is not your new full-time job at all. Make a couple calls. Now, the day of the Zoom, if you have to miss a Zoom, we're going to run it for you anyways. But the day of the Zoom, we want you on as many as possible. And you give us a brief introduction. And guys, buy us 2 minutes if we need it. I mean, if Selby's doing it and he did one at 8, one at 8:30, one at 9, and yours at 9:30, the chances of one of those other ones having an audio issue at the, it just happens sometimes. So if we're running 5 minutes over, we're trying to catch up the rest of the day. But just buy us a minute or two. Say they're real busy. They're just finishing the last one. They'll be here any moment. And then when Selby comes on, real quick introduction. Hey, Selby, I want to introduce you to Sally. She's a friend of mine. She's a client for like the last 10 years. We're friends now. She owns a daycare here. Sally, this is Selby. He's going to do a presentation today. Hand it off to Selby. Sit there, look pretty, smile an awful lot. And at the end, he's going to remind that owner that it's your fault they're getting 800,000. And a matter of fact, it might be a great idea to give them some Aflac for free with this. So position that. After the Zoom, you're done. Nothing to do. It's a delayed gratification, and eventually you're going to get paid handsomely for this. Okay. Now, in case there are owls in the room, I'm in this RSC kit. I'm going to send you, Jamie. There's a Forbes article, which is awesome, written by one of the original architects of the legislation. Goes through the details of why most CPAs misunderstand this and don't understand the purpose of this. But I'm going to send you the flyers, a sample script, the perfect text template, all that. And the first person on this call this morning, it's early on Monday morning, you guys are up with me. First text I get from Team Jamie gets $100 today. First, if it's in a perfect format, 1,
That's
2,
cool.
3, I'm going to mail you $100 just for the first Zoom of the day. Don't just do one, give me 5, give me 10. But first person, it's a race, $100 for the first text message I get. Now, don't send me 4 text messages. Oh, I forgot my email. Or forgot. That means what time? 1 text, 1, 2, and 3, confirm date and time, name of the company, how many employees, if you know it, 2 email addresses, and oh yeah, I'm in Jamie's region down here in Tampa, wherever. And we'll get that Zoom booked, and I'll make you $100 richer just for the fun of it. And guys, think big, think really, really big. But I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with everybody, Jamie, and I commend you for leading the charge with us, bringing us to your veterans, your new agents. Let's do this thing, guys. This is as big as you want. So get excited. I hope you can't sleep tonight, because I still can't sleep. It's a year in, and this thing unbelievable. All right. Any
All
questions?
right. Any questions? Yes, we have a question from Kimberly.
Okay.
Is there a requirement on employees, like,
Minimum?
yeah, minimum to maximum?
Is there a minimum or maximum number of employees?
Yes, basically 5 to 500 is the golden rule. If it's as small as 5, those 5 cannot be owners or family. Okay. The IRS is cracking down on 2 abuses. The small ones, like I have a friend that owns a Vietnamese soup store. Every one of those servers, his daughters or his nieces, I didn't even tell them about this. You can't qualify if they're all family. They have to be at least 5 full-time, non-owner, non-family, FICA paying W-2 employees, up to 500. If they're over 500, sometimes we can still get them qualified if ownership is broken up into tax IDs and different ownership levels. So it's worth exploring. Like that car dealer in, that car wash in Texas was way over 500, but we still got him qualified. But remember, 10 to 100 is our sweet spot. The ones that have 5 employees, guys, sometimes they're harder to get processed for jorts. If there's 25 or 35 or 50 at a plumbing company, there's a guy or a gal there at HR, knows what Excel is, knows how to run a payroll report. It's like second nature. It's our language. It's the small diner with 6 employees where the owner is sitting people down in front of the restaurant, pouring coffee, cooking eggs in the back, and trying to do her ERC. She has no idea what Excel is. we need it in a certain format, for our compliance. We're not trying to be hardline. We just need it a certain way. They get frustrated. We want to help everybody, but 10 or more, it's much easier for everybody that way just to get processed. All right.
Any other questions?
Johnny, any problem partnering? Two agents want to work together. They bring the cases together, they work together. Can you split that commission?
Very good question. No, you guys can split it on your own, but there has to be one referring partner. There's not like a transmittal for agent split. There has to be one person getting a 1099 for that case. If you want to split it with them afterwards, that's between two agents. We have a lot of people who do that around the country for sure, but there's only one referring agent that gets the 1%. Okay, you can swip every other case, or you guys split it, but we can't split it like that because
Thanks.
it's not like the
Prudence.
What's that?
What if you have a company or a small business that has 1099 employees?
No, they have to
Unfortunately,
be W2.
it has to be W. It has to be FICA paying W2.
Cece,
Is there restricted businesses?
any restricted industries?
Just public sector. Well, that's the only thing we really can't do, public sector. If they have W2s, we can help them. Just not police, fire, public schools.
Lauren,
If they got it one year but not another, or if they got it but they still want to talk to you, are you able to help find?
It is worth it. Yes, once in a while, again, we're only up against two things as far as resistance. One is it sounds too good to be true. And we actually don't get a lot of that because they've already lived through PPP, okay? But the second one could be our CPA told us we didn't qualify, okay? That just means our CPA doesn't understand the new guidance. Doesn't make them a bad CPA for year-end taxing, that kind of thing. It just means they don't understand this part, that you need a specialist. Sometimes somebody will say we already filed, or a payroll company filed for them. Do quick math. If they have 10 employees times 20,000, that means they should have gotten about 200,000 with this. Not exact science, but about. Say, did you guys get about 200,000? Probably a little more. If they say no, we got 15,000. They did not, quote unquote, do ERC. That means they had one quarter out of those 2 years who was down a little in revenue, and the payroll company just filed that easy to do. They're missing out on the big project. We can refile for that company. So if they say we already did it, just follow up, just do the math in your head. 20 employees times 20,000, about 400,000. If they got about that, even if it's 300,000, 500,000, as long as it's in the vicinity, leave it alone. They already did it. They did a lot of work to get to that. But if they say, no, we got 18,000, not 200, then that's worth coming, getting on another Zoom. We can refile for company.
Johnny, so if I have a group that does about 700K a year in payroll.
Yep.
How many times can they file? They file just for that first year?
Say that again.
how many times can a company file? I think for how many years? It's gonna be 2021 and 2020 and 2021.
Correct. Quarters 2, 3, and 4 of 20, and quarters 1, 2, and 3 of 21. So 3 and 3. So 6 quarters altogether.
Who else? Let me see hands. Kimberly.
Do you have to have, if we recommend a business that we don't have the state license for the insurance part, are we still allowed to?
Yes,
Very good question.
you
Don't need a license. Nope.
don't need a license. As a matter of fact, you could say your sister's a CPA, tell her about this, and she starts referring people, she can make the commission,
Absolutely. 100%.
like a referral fee. Yeah, this is not insurance. This is not insurance. I have a CPA that, not my personal one, but a CPA that is interested in going to start to their clients. They don't want to become, just like your dentist doesn't want to be the endodontist, but they refer you to an endodontist, same thing. You can, so no, you don't have to have an insurance license. Who else? Christina, we need, or Christina wants to know, you didn't give us the number to text to.
Oh, 603 264 0961. 603 264 0961.
Got it.
Okay, guys, to that point, my son-in-law, nothing to do with insurance, he's a construction worker, but he introduced me to his boss, and I split the commission with him. He got a couple $1,000s for giving, introducing me to his boss. So yeah, you can do this a whole bunch of ways, guys.
Kimberly?
Have agents run into issues where then the CPA gets mad at us?
Kimberly wants to know if we've had any clients that their CPA gets mad at us.
No, it's seldom, but every once in a while, a CPA is just an ego thing. They don't want to admit they don't know, okay? Or maybe they're afraid that Jones is a threat to their client, trying to steal their year-end business. We don't get that much. And once they realize, my company does all those tough follow-up calls with a CPA if you need. You don't have to become an expert in this. I'll field those calls as well. But once they realize that we're not a threat, we don't do year-end preparing. We still need them to do that. So it's really not. Yeah, matter of fact, they come with the referrals for us as well. Actually, Jorns has done ERC for more ERC funds than any other. In other words, a dentist doesn't do their own root canal. Even they have to go see an oral surgeon. So that's what happens with us, guys. A lot of CPAs have hired Jorns to do their own ERC. That makes sense.
Other questions? Any others? I think we're good, Johnny. Here's the room you've been speaking to.
All right, everybody. Fantastic. Awesome. Good to see everybody. So who's going to give me that first text today? Any quick? Oh, I see hands already in the back. All right.
Avery says he's gonna be first to you.
All right. I love it, guys. So think big, guys. Don't be a tire kicker. Just don't hesitate. Massive action. Okay. This is way beyond the trial phase. We already piloted it last year. I never
Don't
realized
worry. We're gonna, after you leave us, we're gonna talk a few success stories just so that they know it's happening right here in Tampa with these folks in this room.
Excellent. Awesome, guys. Well, you guys have a great day and look forward to seeing those texts. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks,
All right.
Johnny. Stay warm.
Guys. Bye.
Bye now.